Hello everyone. I have a package. Let's open up that package. I'm Troublesome Junction, and I'm bringing you a review on what I would say is my favorite Thomas the Tank Engine character ever made. Yeah, I'm more than likely not even going to change this one because, yeah, I'll go into more in-depth, about this. Yeah, you can see that my railway is a mess. It had to be taken down because of repainting and all of that. And this is just my temporary thing before I have to fully say goodbye to my children. I had to get it back up because I wasn't going to let this thing sit on it. Man, I wish I had my X-Acto knife. I'm just using this little card thing. I like that. This is going to take a while. Might as well just put my hand in there. So, since this is taking so long, you know what? Might as well just tell you who this is. This right here is my Thomas and Friends IVO Hugh. You know what? This. Just gonna cut the freaking video right now and come back when it's open. Alright, so now that I used two hands, it took me less than a second to get it out. But anyways, this is IVO Hugh. And I didn't get this one in the Zoo Car pack. I just got it individually because the Zoo Car pack was like $40 or something like that. And I was not going to. And I don't even like special cars like that because they're really not useful for other things. Wow, it looks very, very beat up on the roof. But this right here is my favorite Thomas the Tank Engine character, IVO Hugh. He was released with a series of wagons that he came with a hippo car and I believe it was like a monkey or a lion wagon thing, and it came with a series of zoo cars from the Learning Curve era. There's a lot of dirt and stuff on his wheels. Might have been sitting in that packaging for a little bit too long. I'll clean them up because he got a couple dirt things on and stuff like that. But anyways, I just decided to get him individually because I wasn't going to ever use those because they're not quote unquote generic. Like, you can't use them for very many things. You can only specifically use those wagons for mainly zoo shots, but I like to have wagons like, for example, like the Troublesome Brake Van or just Troublesome Trucks, stuff like that, the classic Thomas Wooden Railway items, because they're so versatile. You can use them in just about any scenario and say, hey, this van is filled with fish or etc. So I just decided to get them individually. Even then, he cost like $35, but I found one for $18, and then about like $5 for shipping. It was a total of $23. And I have to say, for me, I'm really quite happy with this because IVO Hugh, this is the only existing model of IVO Hugh that you can not like as in this is the only one made, but this is the only range that decided to make IVO Hugh into a toy. And I said, since he's my favorite Thomas the Tank Engine character, I said I have to get him, and this is the last one, and I'm really quite happy with that. But here's one thing that a lot of people might get a little slightly angered by, is that the character Fearless Freddy, I do not like him, just because he replaced IVO Hugh, which is the number 7 engine. And when I found out IVO Hugh was not going to be in the television series, because, Fearless Freddy basically replaced him, I was really, really upset about that. For those of you who don't know about IVO Hugh, well, most children wouldn't in today's society because he came from the RWS books. And if you don't know what those are, well, consider yourself a Thomas Normie, because that's like the godfather of all of Thomas the Tank Engine. But anyways, IVO Hugh, I believe, came from book number 40. He came from a story named That Engine, where he was basically nameless. They just referred to him as the number 7 engine. and there was a chief engineer, Mr. Ivo Hugh, who was going to do the big unraveling of his name. And then turns out that this engine was named after him, Ivo Hugh. And here's what really made me upset about Fearless Freddy replacing him. Ivo Hugh did not have a speaking role in the Railway series. Did not say a single word throughout the whole story. He was basically this character who had so much potential. Could have been anything that they wanted. Maybe not have played the role of Fearless Freddy because he was a lot older than the other engines. Ivo Hugh is the youngest of the Skarloey Railway. Because yes, he is a narrow gauge engine based off the real life number 7. The name isn't quite, it's not coming to me right now. But he had so much potential to be someone in the TV show, and it's really quite a shame. We might not ever see Ivo Hugh, and if we do, well, that will be the day. That will be the day. So that's basically the background on Ivo Hugh. Now on to the detail part. I gotta admit, he actually looks really good. And you know the best part about this? Besides the funnel area, the face, and the magnets, and the wheels, the normal stuff, this engine is made all of wood. Can we say that about some of the newer models? No. Well, maybe Thomas would, but they really took that saying we need more wood too far. But I'm not going to get into that. Here is me, who, I gotta add more eyebrows to him. The eyebrows are really, really terrible. So, basically, this came from the Mattel era. This came from Learning Curve era. Learning Curve is basically what I consider the great era of Thomas and Friends Wooden Railway. Most of the things are wood. It brings back a lot of good memories with children, and it's just an all-around good thing for me. So if I were to give this a rating, I'm definitely going to have to, despite me giving this a lot, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. Just because Ivo Hugh is one. It's kind of a biased thing because Ivo Hugh is one, my favorite character, and two, because of just how obscure it was. Because most people know that the RWS engines like a Soda Railway Repair and Flying Scotsman, at least back in the day, did not do as well because they were not seen in the television series. And Ivo Hugh was kind of an obscure choice to give to an animal car pack. I would have much preferred if it came with a series of coal cars maybe, or something like that, because that kind of stuff is useful in a sense. And this is the only range that ever produced Ivo Hugh. So if you're wanting to make a full, complete Skarloey Railway, I definitely recommend you pick this up. Maybe not with the zoo cars on Amazon, because that would cost you about $45. But I was really fortunate and lucky enough to pick mine up for basically $20. And for something that's discontinued and really hard to come by, I'd say it's worth it. The wheels there say 2003. It's not going to show up on camera though. And I will probably go through this with a dust brush because it is quite dusty around the wheels and stuff like that. It does have a few things that look like glue smudges. I think that this one definitely had some play in its lifetime from what it is, but it's in phenomenal condition though, otherwise, besides all the smudges and stuff. So without a doubt, I'm giving this a 10 out of 10, and it is going to go down as my favorite thing that I own in my Thomas the Tank Engine collection. Next to this, but I mean these two. These two are definitely going to be my favorites in my Thomas collection. And Ivo Hugh, I'm definitely happy to have you on board. So if you see Ivo Hugh for a good price and you want to pick him up, I'd say do it if you're into the Thomas Wooden Railway. But if you're someone who just thinks this as a casual thing, maybe not. So for my personal opinion, 10 out of 10, but for the average Joe, or for the average child, I should say, that doesn't know much about the RWS, then maybe I'd say 7-ish out of 10. Because, I mean, the zoo wagons, if you do get it with it, might draw the kid in to it, but otherwise, maybe not. But I myself am a huge Hugh fan, and I am very, as I said, again, I'm going to say it, I'm really happy to have this engine right here. Welcome to the Troublesome Junction Collection, Mr. Hugh. And yeah, that is basically all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just surpassed 100 subscribers about a month or two ago. And that's all I got to say for this video. I'll see you guys on the flip side.